End-of-life care. According to the NHS website, end-of-life care is support for people who are in the last months or years of their life. End-of-life care should help you to live as well as possible until you die, and to die with dignity. The people providing your care should ask you about your wishes and preferences and take these into account as they work with you to plan your care. They should also support your family, carers, and other people who are important to you. You have the right to express your wishes about where you would like to receive care and where you want to die. You can receive end-of-life care at home, in a care home, hospice, or be cared for in hospital, depending on your needs and preference. People who are approaching the end of their life are entitled to high-quality care, wherever they're being cared for.
I worked as a prison officer for 8 years, and most of that I was in healthcare. So I worked with people with mental health issues. I left there because I was headhunted by a hospital in London, a mental health hospital. I worked for them for a few years, is doing therapies, walking and talking therapies, taught Pilates, taught music therapy, all different therapies with all different people with mental health issues. I left that to work for Hestia as a senior caseworker, where I managed 18 different properties with people with mental health issues, and I managed their caseworkers. They would come to me and I'd tell them how to deal with certain issues. I would do safeguarding, everyone's safeguarding once a month, risk assessments once a month. So I do understand mental health, and I understand how to I understand the problems with mental health. The other thing, I was a mediator for a few years for Hounslow in the late 90s, in the early part of 2020, 2021. So I have experience working in communication. Well, I think to understand what really happened to my father and how he was denied his dying wish, you have to understand that it was a combination of three things. Firstly, he was isolated from communicating with anyone that wanted to communicate him, i.e. myself, my sisters in Scotland, his own family. He was isolated and taken to somewhere else where he knew no one. That was the first thing that happened to him. The second thing was in Salisbury District Hospital, when he went into Salisbury District Hospital. And then the last thing, which this tape is about, is his experience in Ashley Grange House, and how specifically the care home manager, his lack of impartiality really made this man's dying wish impossible. When he went to Salisbury District Hospital on the 1st of February, my father went in there. And I had found out. Now, I called about 9:30 on the 6th of February 2023, and I spoke with a nurse called Suzanne. I recorded that. I have it in recording, and it's a Otter Dictor thing app. It records, it writes down everything you're saying, and we have that, and maybe we'll play it later on and you'll hear. Remember, this is on the 6th of February. I called the hospital and I said to the nurse Suzanne, I said, please put in my father's notes that myself and my family in Scotland, we want to be involved in the meeting to do with my father. We can do it by Zoom. That you can do everything by Zoom. You can be anywhere in the world now and we can all attend the same meetings. And that's what I asked to do.
Okay, Susan, but what I'll do, I wonder, is there any chance you could just take a note that if there is a meeting...
Okay, I will put in the note here that you rang, that you've been told that there's a meeting on Thursday, but nothing is being documented yet.
Yeah, I wonder, Susan, could you just put in the notes that the family would like to be a Zoom meeting, because we have family, extended family. There's about 4 or 5 of us all over the place, and we would like, if that's possible.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you, Susan. If you could make a note of that, that would be great.
4 days after that, on the 10th, there was a Dr. Joseph Jolly who wrote in a legal document that my father had been unbefriended. Now that means he has no one who made any decisions for him. No one wants to take responsibility for my father. In a sense, he's been abandoned. Well, that wasn't the case, because you can hear the tape. I am saying we want to be involved. I want to be involved. I'm his son. His brother wants to be involved. I've got family in Scotland. We want to be there. We want to be involved in my father's care. Also in that legal document, this Dr. Joseph Jolly also has my father down as being a female. And that sort of tells you what we got, a female in a legal document. It was also stated in this legal document, which I didn't get to see until my father went into Grange House, that my father only had 4 weeks to live. The hospital, Salisbury District Hospital, had just forgotten to tell us that bit of information. Now, I saw my father on the 10th of, on the 11th of February, the day after this legal document was written by this doctor, 4 days after I contacted the hospital. Then on the 11th I went to see my father. My father asked me to take him home to Scotland. I phoned my sister in Scotland, I phoned his brother, he spoke to them all, we wanted to go home. I recorded my father, I said, what do you want? I then asked the nurse in charge to come over, Julian, to ask my father, can you ask my father what he wants? And my father, you can hear him on the recording, he says he wants to go home. My father's just going to tell you what he wants, and I just want you to hear it. Yeah, yeah. Don't think it's me. Yeah. And I do record them on WhatsApp, I always do it. Okay. Because I have to show my whole family. Yeah. Well, I don't want to leave them. It's just I was saying to Julian now, if you could, where would you want to go? Greenock. Where's Greenock? In Scotland. Yeah, okay. Is that what you'd want, if you could? Oh, yes, of course I would. My hometown. All right, Dad. All right, okay. Okay, yeah, I'll put that in and out, yeah. He wants to go to home. Where is home? Home is Scotland. Where's in Greenock? Where's Greenock? Greenock, Scotland. He is aware of what he wants, and he's asking for what he wants. Now on the 13th, I believe that is a Monday, 13th of February, 2 days after I saw my father and had sent emails in, the nurse she then decided to open her doors on my father. That's a deprivation of liberty. She took away his liberty, so he can't leave the hospital now, although he'd already asked to go, and I had already said to Julian, we want to take him home. Now it's become clear to us that you can't take the dolls out if someone wants to go home. If the patient asks to go home and the family want to take the patient home to look after the patient 24/7, we should be allowed to do that. But that didn't happen. Then on the 28th of February, the senior nurse, she then decided she wanted to have this mental capacity meeting. So again, I'd asked to be involved with everything. So she organised the meeting for the 1st of March. The next day, then what happened was she sent an email to me allegedly, but she sent it to the wrong email address. She'd done it wrong, so I never got it. I received a note of apology from the Deputy Chief Executive, Elisa Thomas, who apologised about what happened. However, she said to me that although they had asked Sharon to call me in the morning for this meeting, in the morning, I'm in London, there in Wiltshire, the nurse Sharon says that she was too busy. She was busy that morning. She forgot to call me. I get a call when the meeting had started. I believe the meeting was probably over when I get that call. I was saying, look, I can't hear what you're saying. I can't hear anything. And this is in the hospital. And then the lady was saying to, I could hear someone else speaking, and I was asking, what is that person saying? And they said it doesn't matter. Now, when I got an apology from this Deputy Chief Executive, Lisa Thomas, she apologised, said about the email, oh, she was supposed to call you in the morning, oh, it was an accident, and you did say you could hear people in the meeting, it says in the letter. Therefore, they're implying it's my fault the meeting went ahead. They're implying it was my fault. But
your father was in a care home.
Mm-hmm.
He was sadly passing away, which is expected when you're in palliative care.
Yep.
My father had the same treatment. I was very lucky, we were very lucky as a family. We received good treatment. from the place that he was in.
Yeah.
There was good communication, and the bottom line, we were there when he passed away, and we were informed of the situation. Somehow you didn't receive that. Within Hertford Care, we work hard to ensure our residents not only have a good life, but also a good death. Our end-of-life care is about our commitment to care and ensuring a good departure. Emotional support is so important at this time, not just to our resident, but to those closest to them too. We understand this is a very difficult and challenging time for everyone involved, but we will be here for you every step of the way.
Hello?
Hey, is that Daniel?
Yeah, who am I speaking to?
Hi, it's Joe at Ashley Grange. Sorry, our system cut you off.
Yeah, I noticed. Joe, listen, can you explain to me why nobody told me my father died?
So, yesterday he passed away really peacefully, and he had family with him, and that they informed us that they had told us and passed that message along. We would only ever contact one member of the families normally.
When did my father die? What time?
Just a tick. At 1:40.
Why was I not informed that my father was dying?
So we contacted your dad's family, and we informed them, and we were told that they're going to pass on that message.
No, you know, Joan, you know my sister doesn't speak to me. And first, Joan, let me be clear, I'm recording this. Like I record all calls to do with my sister. My sister has mental health issues. And we love, make no mistake, we love my sister. And we forgive my sister. But you have a care of duty. You're supposed to contact next of kin. I didn't find out till almost 9 o'clock last night. Where is my father's body now?
So that's all been dealt with by your sister. If
No,
you'd like
no.
to give her a
I'm
contact,
asking you.
then-
I'm asking you for information. You know my sister doesn't talk to me. I'm asking you who you called to take my father's body. And I am recording
Your
you.
sister,
You are being
your
recorded.
sister has informed me that she's contacted several members of your family.
I understand my sister says things to people. But you know my sister's got mental health issues. I showed you all the evidence when I came there, and I gave you the funeral package. I also emailed the funeral package to you on the 20th of May. Now, did that package go with my father's body? Did the funeral package go with my father that you were given, and the notice that was in it? Was it all given with my father's body to the parlour? As it should have
So,
been.
obviously, any funeral director would have to be local that came to collect from here.
Yeah, you'd have phoned him. Who did you call, Joan? I'm asking you, as my father's son, you're supposed to provide a service for my father, and that should be to support my father and serve my father's best interests, not the interests of anyone else. I need to know, who did you call to take my father's body? You can't get away, Joan. Enough now. Enough. Where's my father's body?
All the information is with your sister.
No, it's not good
and
enough.
she shared that with several members of your family.
No, that is not good enough. I am asking you, I'm the next of kin. Where is my father's body? You were given notice when I saw you. I handed it physically to you, my father's funeral package. You are not the one who decides what funeral package my father has. That will be in a court of law. I'm asking you, where did my dad's body go?
Daniel, I'm not deciding anything.
Yeah.
I'm following the instructions that were given to me in writing in Daniel's will.
No, I didn't see my father's will. There's no will as far as we're concerned. There was no will when he was in hospital, when he didn't have capacity. So anything anyone's saying is a will now will go in front of a judge when it goes to probate. We don't have time to wait for probate. Now, you can tell me now.
That would be between you and the family. I'm just a care provider, and we supported your dad whilst he was alive.
And we're asking you, where did you put his body?
With good care.
Are you refusing to tell me who you called for my
I'm now following the
body?
instructions that were left to me with your dad's will.
No, I'm sorry. As far as we're concerned, my father doesn't have a will. That'll need to be proved in a court of law. There is a will, and you can't make that decision. It's not a decision for you to make, Joan. I'm asking you one more time clearly. Who did you call to take my father's body? Are you withholding that information from me?
We followed the written instructions as dictated by your dad's will, which we were given a copy of. That's all I'm able to say.
No,
Please,
you're not.
please
You're making a
contact
choice.
the rest of your family,
You're choosing
because
to say
Sabrina's
that.
informed me that all of it, they've informed members of your family.
Well, listen, John, I'm asking you one more time. Who did you call? What parlour has my father's body? Who is in possession of my father's body now? We need to know. I'm telling you, we do not know the family in Scotland. We do not know where our father's body is, and you do. And you have a care of duty to serve my father and act in his best interest, not the best interest of anyone else. Where is my father's body? It's the last time I'm asking you before I send these videos to the CQC and I go straight to the CEO. I believe it's still Kevin Shaw. Is that the CEO of your company?
Yes, he is.
Okay, we'll be contacting him, sending these videos. I'm asking you one more time. Where is my father's body? Who did you contact?
Okay, Daniel, I'm afraid that your tone is becoming threatening. I am going to give you a phone number to call, but I would like to make it really clear that your threats and your behaviour and your tone are not acceptable. We are all entitled to work free from threat.
No one's threatened you, madam. Simply telling you that you will be reported for your
Daniel,
behaviour. It's not a
I've
threat,
just
it's
said
a
that I'm going to
fact.
give you the information that you want,
Thank
but
you.
I have asked you
Thank
to
you for the information.
correct your tone.
Thank you. Just let me have the information and we can soon end this call, Joan. Thank you very much.
The phone number is 01722
01722
330
330
598.
598. And that is the phone number of what? Or who?
That's the phone number of Darren McDonald Funeral Directors, and they came to collect your dad. Daniel, please could I ask that you speak with them kindly? They are absolutely nothing to do with any family discussions. They are their funeral directors. They're just professionals.
For one more time, so my father died at 140. Did he die? He died with someone who was with my father when he died. Again, we don't have any information.
Okay, well that's something that could definitely be discussed with the family members.
But you, one more time, so my father died at 140. Did he die? He died with someone who was with my father when he died. Again, we don't have any information.
Okay, well that's something that could definitely be discussed with the family members.
But you, but Joan, you know who. I'm asking you who was with my father.
Details which I've provided.
You're refusing to tell me who was with my father when he died. I can't believe you.
Daniel,
How can you do that, Joan?
Daniel, I've already said that your dad was with his family members.
What family members
And
specifically?
then those family members have told me that they have discussed this with other members of your family.
They may have told you that. I'm telling you they
I provided
didn't.
Daniel care whilst he was alive, and he was really well looked after. And I hope that you as a family can come together. But at this point, I'm happy to say that he had a very peaceful end to his life, and that's the best we could have hoped.
Can I ask you one more thing before you go? First of all, I want to make it clear. Thank you for looking after my dad. There's no doubt about it. He was looked after well. We've all said that. We all see the videos, and we're very pleased. And I know you've been in a. Let me be clear, Joan. I know you've been in a difficult position. We know our sister. We love our sister. We've been dealing with her for 30 years, and everything that comes along with the baggage with my sister. We've dealt with it all. We love her and we forgive her, even for this. This will be forgiven, Joan. So one more time, you're refusing to tell me who was with my father when he died.
I have explained that his family were with him.
Yeah, but I'm asking you specifically, Joan, why can't you just say who was with my father when he died so you can let us have some peace?
I've been asked to pass on the information that.
You're refusing, Joan, you're actually refusing to tell the man's son who was with him when he died so I can have a peaceful day and relate to my sister.
Daniel, may I ask, if you had specifically told me not to tell other people when you had been to spend some quality time with your dad, would you expect me to then break that and tell them?
I would expect someone to tell
the bereaved son who was with their father, if they asked who was there when their father died, I would expect that. I don't expect you to record every move that someone is having with my father, but I do respect some dignity. I do expect you to be impartial. That's what I would expect, and that's not what happened here, is it, Joan? That's not what's happened.
I have always sought to maintain impartiality within your
Why
family
did you not call me when my father fell?
discussion,
I was
but
told just
Daniel,
to...
in the same way as I wouldn't go against your wishes, I won't go against any other member of your family's wishes.
It's not your responsibility. I'm asking you who was with my father when he died. Joan, you've refused to tell me who's with my father when he died. Do you understand that? Do you think that's normal? You won't even tell me who was with my father. You didn't even call and tell me my father fell only recently. I was told this yesterday. Why didn't you tell me my father had a fall? Please explain that. And
we would always, as a standard, inform a member of a family, which we did.
But you knew my sister didn't talk to me. You and I had the conversation. You have it all. You have all the emails, everything to look over. You choose to be not impartial. You choose what you choose to do. Joanna, I'm in this conversation. I have enough. And one more time, I want to thank you for you and the staff and everything you've done for my father. I really, really do. And understand this, we will forgive my sister. We love my sister, it will move on. However, what you did, what you're saying, the conversation you've had with me is terrible. Goodbye.
I don't know if the family member told the people in Wiltshire that my father, we were all bad people. I don't know if that happened, but shouldn't matter, because a professional has to be impartial. They have to be transparent. So I don't know the answer to those questions. Let me state here, as I stated before, the family member we forgive. I have no problem with a family member. I understand I've got a family member who has severe mental issues. I understand that. I have no problem with that. My problems with the professional people. They should be transparent, impartial, and most importantly, they have a duty of candour. If they make a mistake, they have to say I've made a mistake.
Okay, Nikki, how are you involved in all of this?
I am the daughter-in-law of the late Daniel Carruthers.
And what is your profession?
Palliative care, team leader for palliative care for the last 9 years. 5 years in hospice care and 4 years in palliative elderly end-of-life care.
Have you got any experience with family members in conflict like this scenario?
Yes, absolutely. When it comes to palliative and end-of-life, it's always highly charged, emotional times for families. So yes, I've dealt with many families, many conflicts.
How would you resolve conflict between family members in a scenario like that?
Okay, so what we would do is we would have communication with both sides. We would allocate them separate times and visits. We would make sure that the families were updated equally for information. We would be very welcoming. We wouldn't hide away from anything. The thing is with palliative and end of life is you always have to be open and honest.
Thank you. And just lastly, how do you feel about the care home's interaction with your husband, Daniel, the manager in particular, that exchange?
Absolutely disgusted. If it's just unfathomable, really, to be perfectly honest. I was there when Daniel had the phone call with the manager asking where his dad's body was. He wasn't even informed that his dad had died at the time. They were robbed of, actually, not just him, his 2 sisters in Scotland and his uncles and aunts in Scotland. They were all, and the grandchildren as well, were robbed of actually saying goodbye, even to see his body. The whole thing has just been absolutely disgusting. The way that the manager spoke to my husband was the most unprofessional in my experience. You just don't do that. You just do not speak to any relative the way that she spoke to him. She spoke to him like he was a criminal, and this was a man that was grieving, who was in shock. They've taken all of that. They've taken all of the death, actually the end of life and the death away from the family. All of this, as far as I'm concerned, sits on that manager's shoulders, because she was not open and honest. She was not. She was definitely biased. She definitely did not follow a duty of candor. She did not put her hands up and say, look, by the way, this, we've done this wrong, or we've done that wrong, or maybe we're going to learn from this. Absolutely nothing. The family are still left in limbo. My father-in-law body was taken away without any notice for the family. Nobody's seen it. Nobody had a chance to say goodbye. This is all on that manager's shoulders, as far as I'm concerned, because as a manager, she should be talking to her staff, to the nurses in charge, to the carers, to everybody involved, to the family. This is how it goes. For person-centered care, from beginning to end, has been a total disaster. So yeah, I'm very angry that the family have been treated, especially my husband and my two sister-in-laws in Scotland, and the uncles and the aunts have been treated the way that they have. They all had contact with him, and they all were isolated from him. This is on the manager's shoulders. Danny had conversations with them. They had the documentation. They had the end-of-life care plan. They had the funeral package. They had everything. They were in contact with Danny regularly. They contacted Danny and they would phone him to say when he'd had a fall. But they didn't phone to tell him that he had deteriorated and that he had died, or that his body had been removed. That's where I'm absolutely disgusted in. So yeah, it's on that manager's shoulders, as far as I'm concerned, of Ashley Grange.
What, in your mind, would be a fitting settlement for this? What's going to put it right?
Nothing can, you know, nothing can take away the hurt. My sister's in Scotland. Nothing can take away that hurt. We don't know. My two sisters in Scotland. Myself, my father's only son. My father's two brothers. Certainly my Uncle Joseph. My father's two older sisters, both in their 80s. We don't know who was with my father when he died to this date. And what we're in now, October 2023. We don't know who was with my father. We don't know about anything. We weren't aware where his funeral was. We get invited to nothing. It was all hid, and all because of this lady, the manager of that hospice, that the place that she was in. Sorry, my father was in. That woman, the way she was speaking to me, because of her actions. My father's sisters in their 80s, brothers in their 80s, his own daughters couldn't even go to his funeral. He had a funeral, as far as we know, just with two people. To contact the funeral place, did you hear after a long 6 times I asked the manager, and you heard what happened there. It took 6 times before she told my father's body was. I contacted the funeral place. They would not tell us when. They were told not to tell us when my father was being cremated. All because of this woman, this manager, not being impartial. If she was simply impartial and transparent, we wouldn't have had to suffer what we're suffering to this day. My father's got his older sisters now. They've known my father for 80 years. And they didn't listen to any of us. None of us. And when I went to that hospital that my father was in, Ashley Grange House, when I went there, I handed a notice to the manager. There's my phone number, there's my sister in Scotland's number, there's his brother's number, his phone number, there's a notice. We want to know exactly what's going on here. We do not speak to the person that knows my father down here. The family member down here has nothing to do with us. We've nothing to do with that person. We don't communicate with that person. We communicate with the manager. My father was in that manager's care. She should have been impartial. And she should have listened to us. We gave her 37 emails. shown going way back to 2021. Correspondence between the uncles, the sisters, myself, with professional people, stating all our worries and concerns. Yet they choose not to look into it. They choose to treat me the way she treated me, as if I thought she treated me. I had to ask these people at Ashley Grange and their CEOs, the heads of the company, I had to ask them for a request for all my data. I had to make a data. Sorry, playing back. I had to make a data request because I had to figure out what have they been told about me to treat me in such a way.
And did they respond to that request?
They responded to it, and there was nothing there except everything I sent them, including the 37 emails, including the notice, and including, most importantly, the funeral package that I gave them. I think I turned up there round about, it was just after the 20th of January, February, after the 20th of March, I believe. It wasn't long in there, in that place, but as soon as I could, I got there. I got the funeral package for my father, because my wife works in a hospice, so we understand you have to put the funeral package in. It was set in place 16 years ago. It was paid for, as was my mother's was paid for by my sister Tracy. She paid for these funerals. Now, in order for when someone dies, you simply give the death certificate and then everything gets put into place. I told the manager that. There is it all, you'll see it all in the notes and the emails. I sent it by email to the care home before I went there on the 20th, January, February, March. I sent it an email, I believe it's 20th March. Then I turned up there and I gave her a physical. A file like that. That's my father's funeral package. Now, two things can happen here. The implication, what I'm being told, is that she had a will, apparently. Now, if she had a will, when I went there and I was given her a funeral package, she should have been transparent and open and impartial and said, actually, there's a will here. Then we could have taken it up, we had some time, get some lawyers involved, get this will and have a look at it. She never said that. If there was a will put into place after I gave her the funeral package, then she should have been transparent again. Called us and said there's another funeral package put into place, so she'd been impartial. But that didn't happen. None of that happened. My father, when going back when he was in hospital, when this Dr. Jolly said my father on the 10th, my father was unbefriended when they were making that statement. When all that was happening, on the 10th saying my father was unbefriended, yet I've got audios and recordings of me on the 6th pleading to be invited to the meetings, pleading for all this.
Well, I feel as if the Ashley Gray care home, they never listened to my brother. My brother had a meeting with them and explained the circumstances with the family and asked them to call them, any updates with my dad. And we never had any updates of when my dad was passing, which I believe they had phoned a member of the family, but we never got told. But if they told my brother would have told us, and I feel as if it's because of them I could have got to see my dad before he passed. If they just phoned my brother, what they said they would do. But then they're saying to my brother to ask a family member for information, knowing the circumstances. My brother can't do that. So, and then when my dad died, they didn't phone either. We didn't find out for hours later. And then it's just all a shock. I feel as if the undertakers and everything knew my dad died before. Even my dad's Dean Wayne's, his two daughters, his son, brother. That's my dad's brother, my Uncle Joe, that you're going to be talking to today. It's just, it seems so unreal. I just try to block it all out, to tell you the truth. But I know I'm here to talk about the care home and the way they've treated us, and I think they've treated us like criminals, I think, for my own dad.
I did ask Danny this question. What do you think explains the behaviour, the intention behind it? Is it just negligence, or is there another reason?
Well, I don't know. I feel as if they've listened to a family member and they tell us nothing. They tell my dad's daughters and son nothing, you know what I mean? And I think that's wrong for a care home to do that. They shouldn't be taking sides in any family. They should have phoned my brother and told my brother about my dad, and my dad was going to be passing. And we don't even know when they done that. Do you know what I mean? It could have been 2 days before my dad died. We could have got down from Scotland to see my dad. We never had a chance because they never phoned and they knew the circumstances. So I don't know why it changed, because they were phoning my brother. They phoned my brother a couple of times to tell my brother things about my dad. So why did it change? Why did they not call? I just don't understand how they never called and gave us a chance. And even if we never had time to go and travel to England, I might have been able to phone my dad to say goodbye to him. I never even got that chance because they never phoned. I don't know.
Joe, you've suffered a similar experience. Can you shed any further light on why it might have happened? Why you were treated like this?
No, but if I go back a couple of years, my brother was moved away from London, and I believe it was to stop me getting to see him, because I used to go down 2-3 times a year. I'd stay with young Dan, but I'd go and see my brother. And it was all obvious that I wasn't able to get talking to my brother on his own, but I had to take him out to get to talk to him. This is when he was in Turnham Green. But basically, our complaint is that my two sisters are distraught as well. We didn't get a chance to grieve. And we would have been doing. We'd have been on the next plane or train on the way down there if we had been told. And I know I told that care home my phone number, my email address, and I have yet to hear from him. I have never heard a thing from him. Not one word of them. So ours is, we had a wee celebration of Danny's life up here, but we were robbed of being able to be there for him. We have been down a few times. I say I get down, I used to go down quite regular. But recently, my two sisters, myself, Tracy, went to the hospital. The hospice he was in, I went down, Danny run me over, and I got digs over there. And I was in about 2 or 3 times that time I was doing. But overall, I've probably been in the home about 5 times. So it's not as if they don't know me. I stayed in it one night. The last night I had with Danny, it was late on the evening, and I went out, because I was just in the digs. And I went up to see him. They all seen me there, said hello and what have you. Danny and I sat and watched Johnny Cash on the telly, because he likes his music and I like my music as well. But that's the last I seen of my brother. It was a good night, but to be robbed, I've actually, apparently went into the hospital, and it was a couple of days after that it passed away. If I had been told at the time that he was going into hospital and he was close on, I'd have been there. And everybody knows that. There's no ambiguity there. If I had known, I'd have been there.
And that's the
We've
thing.
been robbed of that.
Everybody would have phoned, would have knew. All the care is phoned Daniel, and Daniel would have told all us, and we would have knew. And then my dad could have got to see us before he died too. But we never got a chance because the care home never done what we asked them to do. Daniel told them the circumstances, but nobody told us nothing. Nobody phoned Daniel what they were supposed to do and tell us.
I had a question that they do phone me if there was any deterioration in my brother's condition. And not only did they not tell me that, they didn't even tell me he was dead.
No.
They didn't give me a chance.
No, never
It's
told anything.
ridiculous. It's not. No human being should be treated that way. My sisters are the exact same as me.
Yeah. it's not right. It doesn't seem right. It's just a pure shock. This doesn't happen. The families shouldn't actually be doing this.
I know nothing is going to make this right. Unfortunately, the damage has been done. I would assume your only hope is maybe preventing this happen to someone else, to another family.
Exactly what my sister Elizabeth says. If we could somehow prevent other people going through this torment, that's what it's torment. It's we've been denied, and who denied us? Who had the right to deny us? Nobody had the right to deny us that. Don't care who they are. They didn't have the right to deny us. And to say that he was friendless, there was about 100 people at his celebration in Greenock. So a man that was friendless at the 100 people turned up to pay their respects. I'm sorry, it beggars belief. But somebody is responsible for this. And whoever it is, I can't find it in me to forgive him if I knew who it was. Young Dan seemed to think he could forgive. I couldn't. I just honestly couldn't.
I can't either, Joe. I'm not forgiving. I can't forgive. I think it's the lowest of the low to do what's done. Do you know what I mean? I can't. I'll never forgive.
I think if I could just say something, it's all this time, it's now October. October's the date.
6th of October.
No, it's later than that, isn't it? It's 7th or 8th of October. And
it's a 7th October.
Even right now, I'm realising that we don't know anything about who was with my father when he died. How he died. We don't even know who was at this alleged funeral. And as my Uncle Joe was saying there, my Uncle Joe's went, if I hear him right, under the impression my dad was taken to a hospital before he died. That's news to me. I didn't know that. So that means we're not even clear on what happened surrounding his death.
Well, but I just
even now,
he was taken to the hospital. I'm sorry.
I know we've all been together.
No, I think he was in the care home when he died. I do think he was in the care home when he died.
So I could have went to the care home. I know where it is.
Yes,
but
exactly.
I didn't get a chance to do that.
We could have all went to the care home.
Daniel will tell you, and anybody down there will tell you, and my whole family up here will tell you. The minute I hear that Danny's not well, I'm doing it. It's as simple as I'm a pensioner, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm not working or anything. I just go on a plane or a train or bus. I don't care. It was mostly trains I went doing with, but the last time I went doing it was I flew down. But I've got this terrible thing in me that he was taken away from me. It was taken away from a place that I used to be able to go down and see him without any problem. He had a couple of friends in 2 social clubs. One was a boy from Glasgow who had given up the drink, so he was only on tea and coffee and things like that. And they told me they would keep in touch with me as well, but it was taken away from them as well. I don't understand why. It wasn't for his good that he got moved halfway across the country. But that's another story. The care home itself, I'm really raging with them because they've seen me 4 or 5 times. I think it's 5 times in their care home. I was there till about 10:30 one night. And I don't know if you know, but see, when you go out, it's pitch black, there's no street lights or anything like that. I ended up having to walk for about half a mile using my phone, camera, torch to get my way down the road. That would never bothered me. I got to see my brother. But they've denied me that. Whoever it is.
Even the care
It's got to
home
be
is
somebody in
going
the
to
care,
deny
it's got
my
to be
brother.
somebody in the care home, could I ask them, and I gave them my phone number and email address. So it was easy for them to get me. Why didn't they? If somebody from that care home can talk to me now even and say why they didn't get in touch.
You're waiting for that
apologise or
explanation.
something. I'm still waiting for it. I haven't heard a word from them.
Yeah.
They've not even acknowledged that he's dead yet to me. Terrible. It's shocking. Who caused it? I don't really care. I've been denied. I've been denied seeing my brother.
No, we're all different. I forgive the members of my family who did not act in my father's best interest, acted in what their wants were, not his needs. I forgive them. I don't forgive the professional people who were not impartial, who were not transparent, and who, when they saw, let's look at one, as I said before, when we gave my father's funeral package in, if there was one already there, then they should be transparent and say, we've already got one. If they don't do that, they're not being transparent. If later on they realise they've got 2 funeral packages here, they have a duty of candour to say, we made a mistake, there is already one here. Again, be transparent. None of that happened. If there was a funeral package put in after we put the funeral package in, and remember with the funeral package, I had my sister's name on a notice, my Uncle Joe's name on a notice with phone numbers to be contacted if anything happens to my father, so we can get it into place. If one was put into place after we done that, then they should have been transparent. And again, the duty of candour, if there's mistakes made, and inform us. They've never done any of that. But for me personally, I'm almost embarrassed watching them calls that I made to that hospital, because I wonder to myself, what must have been said? What belief do they have about me in order to treat me like that? There was no empathy. There was no empathy whatsoever. 6 times I asked where my father's body was. 6 times before I get a response. I think 4 or 5 times. I was also asking why she never called me. You know, it's
that's exactly
unimaginable. I was
And
numb.
then she's telling you to speak to your sister when she knows the circumstances.
And she kept saying to me, your father died with his family, as if it was a knife dagging at me. There was no need for that. That is not empathy. They were supposed to call me when I met the lady at the care home, that manager Joe. I informed her, I do not speak to the people who were visiting my father down there. I speak only with the professional people, only the care home, and my father's only son. And I made it perfectly clear that I was speaking on behalf of the rest of my family. All the emails we showed, 34, were all CC'd in. There is no secrets. We're all transparent with each other. I know what my sister says. I know what my Uncle Joe says. They know what I'm saying. I tell them immediately. We're very transparent. Yet we were ignored. And personally, I had to ask for a data request to try and find out why I was treated so badly. It's almost embarrassing to watch those calls, because anybody looking at them calls I made to that manager would be thinking, what does that manager know about me? What did this man do in order for to be treated like that? I was almost in shock. I don't want anybody to go through that again.
It's actually.
I don't want anybody to go through that. And on the call, she says to me that their policy is only to tell one person. However, if there was people already there, then who did they tell? No one. No, they knew that part of the family don't communicate with us. And again, I forgive my sister. I know my sister's got mental health issues. I forgive that. I worked with mental health. I don't forgive the professional people. That's all I can say, you know.
I think that's how I started, Daniel. for me, all families have bits of problems, but the care home, I asked them to contact me, gave them the details. They could have phoned me, texted me, emailed me, but they haven't. To this day, they have not said my brother's dead.
No.
And these people know me. They have been in their place on several occasions. I know he's not there that long, but why?
Let's wrap it up.
Someone in that
We've got about
care
3
home.
minutes.
Can I just say one more thing? I want people to understand. I asked
Hello,
four times who was with my father when he died, so I can have peace. And here I'm sitting months later, still don't know the answer to that. I was denied that by the care home manager. How was that professional? What did I ever do to her?
It's just so shocking. You ask the Green care home, it's just, they treated us like criminals, I think. Do you know
I've
what I
had
mean?
30 minutes. If anyone's got anything...
My wee great grandson just came in.
If you've got anything you need to add, or you feel that you've forgotten something, we can come back to it, we can review it. Alternatively, you could even send a voice note to Danny and I can add it in. But I'm going to wrap this one up on 30 minutes so the file doesn't get too big. Okay. So we're offline.
I'm in this.
Yeah, go on.
I'm in this representing my sisters up here because they were very, very upset, like myself. Why? Who thinks that we should not have been told? Why did they keep that information from us? Why? That's my question. Why?
And I would like to know why too, for me, myself, my brother and my sister in Scotland, why we weren't told either about our father. Do you know what I mean? About him going to be passing, about when he died, where his body was. Everything was just kept from us, which isn't right for a family to be treated. And that's my brother.
Somebody out there is thinking, there's a guy died, you've got no family, no friends, no nothing. You know what I mean?
No,
He
and
was
it's when
a lovely man.
Do you know what I mean?
He was well loved up here, as evident from our wee celebration of his life up here. It was a marvellous day, and there must have been about 100 people in the club that day.
Yeah.
Just showing their respect for him, and not just family, people from where they lived in Greenock, Belleville Street, workmates,
working friends,
members of the club. It was a gathering of friends, people who loved him. He did not die friendless.
I'm Elizabeth Marner, sister of Daniel Crothers. I would just like to know why the hospice did not get in touch with us when my brother was dying, and why we were not told. It is to say that he had no family is just ridiculous. There were 8 of us in the family, and we all were there for one another. We all loved one another, and my brother Daniel did not deserve to be buried the way he was, as if he had nobody who cared for him. It is hard to take. We would have been there. Nothing would have stopped us being there for Danny if we'd been told. And he was not a friendless man. He was well liked by everyone, and he had loads of friends, loads of them. We did have a day for him, in the Regent Club to celebrate his life. But we would have liked to do an awful lot more than just that. We would like to have been able to go down and show the respect and the love that we had for Danny. It is hard to take that nobody in authority would give us that. Why? Why were we not told? Why were we just ignored in the fact that our brother had left the world the way he did? It is very, very sad. And the people responsible should be ashamed of themselves. It's a bit different for the first lot, but it still means the very same thing.
I'm doing this voice call regarding the day of my dad's passing. My late father is Daniel Carruthers. I'm his daughter Anne-Marie. We were devastated as to why none of us in my father's children were informed of the possibility of our dad passing. On the 5th of July 2023, even though Ashley Gate Nursing Home had made calls to us on other occasions as to how our dad was doing, this devastated all of us. But despite this, on behalf of all of our family, including our dad's brothers and sisters, my brother Daniel made contact to Ashley Gate Care Home to find out which parlour our dad had been taken to. He was treated with no respect whatsoever. When he asked where our dad had been taken to, they wouldn't tell us, and as a result of this, our dad was taken and secretly cremated without any family being there for him. How undignified is that? If we knew where our father was, things would have been so much different. I would like answers to these questions from Ashley Gate Care Home.
What would you do? If you could move out of here, would you move? I would move. You'd move? What if I could? You'd head for Greenock? Yeah. Dad, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Home. Where's home? Greenock. Are you sure you want to go? I'm positive. Tell, where is Greenock? So I need to know, you know. Scotland. Scotland. You want to go? And if I put you in a car, would you come with me? Yep.